What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Blur Without Fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's video, we're going to be talking about the Invincible Iron Man number 13, written by Jerry Duggan with art by Juan Frigeri and color by Brian Valenza. So the real question here today is, why is a Makluan trying to kill Riri Williams? For those who haven't been keeping up, Riri is the current wielder of the 10 rings, a set of jewelry that acts as a powerful weapon of mass destruction in the Marvel Comics universe. What many tend to forget about the 10 rings is that they are Makluan in origin. If Makluan sounds familiar, it's because that is the race of the alien being many mistake for a dragon, Fin Fang Foom. The rings themselves were originally created by that alien civilization, and each individual ring possesses the soul of a fallen Makluan. So effectively, 10 different beings like Fin Fang Foom. Now, the reason the rings are on Earth to begin with is because a Makluan by the name of Axon Kar brought them with him when he first visited Earth, but was mortally wounded by the warriors of that time period, which was ancient China. The Mandarin would later find these very same rings and become Iron Man's greatest enemy for a time. And this new Makluan we see at the end of Invincible Iron Man number 13 is of the belief that he has found the new wielder of the 10 rings and he wants them back, and oddly enough, Riri has them all, and she's been quickly unlocking their power and using them in ways that we have seen before, but also in some ways that we haven't. Something tells me we'll get more of the same when she actually uses the rings against this new Makluan. We already saw in the previous issue of Invincible Iron Man number 12, where Riri was using the rings to effectively have a telepathic showdown with Emma Frost. While she didn't beat Emma Frost in that showdown, Emma Frost didn't beat her either. And while Emma Frost is not an Omega level telepath, Emma Frost is as close to being an Omega level telepath as you can get without actually being Omega level. She has limits. When it comes to sheer raw telepathic power, she'll never hold a candle to Jean Grey, but that's a very high bar. Take all that into consideration, and you could effectively say that Emma Frost is probably the 3rd, 4th, or 5th, depending on what day it is, most powerful telepath in the Marvel Comics universe. The fact that Riri was even able to hold her own against Emma Frost just using one of the 10 rings says a lot. Now, I have actually talked a good deal about how Riri has gotten these rings, but just as a refresher, she picked up these rings during the Christopher Cantwell run of Iron Man. And during that series, when Tony was trying to buy up all of the weapons of mass destruction in the Marvel Comics universe, not just missiles and bombs, but also some of the most powerful weapons of all of the various supervillains of the Marvel Comics universe, Riri had snuck in and bought the 10 rings before Tony could get his hands on them. And while Tony didn't initially like the idea of her having the 10 rings, he eventually relented and decided to trust Riri to have them and not use them irresponsibly or let them fall into the wrong hands. And now it kind of feels like the attention that these 10 rings have attracted, that it's now gotten the attention of a Makluan who is shown up to try and take them for himself, because originally these rings are something that should belong to someone like a Fin Fang Foom, for that matter. That is why in the Marvel Comics universe it's kind of weird that the rings actually are shrunken down to like a normal human hand size. But at the same time, like, why in the MCU, when you see the 10 rings, they're more the size of bracelets? Because technically they're supposed to go on the fingers of something bigger than a normal human. The way these work is that they reshape themselves to fit the size of their wielder, so that's kind of why this does what it does. Other than Riri's current battle with the new Makluan, the rest of the issue is just largely focused on Tony and Emma using 2 scrolls to pretend to be them and basically do normal, everyday, rich white people stuff and making sure that the paparazzi notice that they're doing it. This is basically to make sure that Orcus doesn't catch wind of the fact that Tony and Emma have run off somewhere, that somewhere is them performing an Ocean's 11 style heist alongside the Eternal Star Fox, where they're breaking into a vault on Game World to steal the cache of Mysterium that's there so that Iron Man can get his new suit. A suit that has recently, because we have the next issue coming up pretty soon, but the suit in question is going to be appearing very soon. This is the new Iron Man suit we're going to be getting. It looks amazing, and honestly, I know that this suit will probably not last, but I hope it does. The whole heist thing goes about as well as you could possibly imagine it. It goes pretty damn well, actually. Like, almost too well. And the best part about it is that Tony and Emma are starting to get closer with one another as a direct result of the paparazzi that caught wind of the fake Tony and Emma out in the world doing their thing, living it up as if they were the real Tony and Emma. Once the real Tony and Emma come back, they end up realizing that, yeah, maybe we should keep up these appearances. And while they're doing it, they go ice skating together. It kind of seems as though, yeah, they are, like, with each issue, they are genuinely becoming more and more of an actual real item than just one of, convenience for the time. And while I'm never the biggest fan of marriages of convenience in the real world, I think they can usually wind up, I don't want to say like they're always toxic, but in my experience, when I have been close to people who got married just strictly out of convenience, there's no real actual love there. I feel like those usually end up not going very well for either party involved, and heaven forbid those people have children. A marriage of convenience can work out if both parties do actually find genuine attraction and love for one another. So I'm actually hoping this is something that works out, because I feel like both characters deserve a win. And while we don't really know what's going on with Cyclops and Jean at this moment, because, well, Jean has been going through cycles of life and death, and Cyclops has basically been, well, prisoner X, more or less. For Orcus, I mean, yeah, right now, Emma deserves a dub. Tony deserves a dub after everything he's been through, and I kind of like them together. Like, the more and more it goes on, the more and more I'm here for it. You guessed it, obligatory channel outro time. If you're not subscribed to the channel, consider doing so. Clicking that subscribe button and tapping that notification bell ensures that you get more videos just like this one, and you don't miss any of my other content that I drop throughout the week, plus my live streams every Thursday and Saturday. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you click that like button, keep it plus ultra, and sound off in the comments.